forgot. Good thing I noticed. The opening of the show, the theme, for some reason, always clips. I have to manually adjust it. But it's a good thing I remembered that because it also, the application automatically warps stuff because it's like a DJ application. So it always sounded like that kind of stuff if I hadn't done that. Right, Chris? That's right. Okay. Let's dial that down a little bit there.
Wow. That was an intense sound effect.
All right, let's try this again. Chris Galzo here with
Matt Howell.
On this episode of The First to Run, Matt and I are going to discuss Red Sparrow. Jennifer Lawrence is James Bond, but more like Red Grant, I guess, but not quite Red Grant. It's a whole thing. We'll talk about it. She plays a Russian spy opposite Joel Edgerton. We're also going to talk about the Spanish horror film Veronica that just popped up on Netflix, Matt, that people are saying they had to turn off. It was so scary. And then finally, we're going to do the lounge. We're going to do our Oscars recap. I wanted to cancel this segment entirely, but well, maybe it was best that we did talk about how the Oscars went. And then some other stuff that's going on. So let's start everything off with a clip from Red Sparrow.
From this day forward, you will become sparrows. Weapons in a global struggle for power.
Every human being is a puzzle of need. You must learn to intuit what is missing, become the missing piece, and they will give you anything.
Take off your clothes. Your body belongs to the state. Since your birth, the state nourished it. Now the state asks something in return. You must learn to sacrifice for a higher purpose. Push yourself beyond all limitation and forget the sentimental morality with which you were raised.
I kind of felt that was like watching this film at times, that I really had to kind of just go past just the general morality that I've been raised by and serve the state, of course, that being the show, by watching the film Red Sparrow, directed by Francis Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence plays Dominika Egorova, She is a Russian ballet who suffers a horrible, not quite so much of an accident. And then she gets brought into this web of intrigue when she is hired to sort of kind of seduce a guy, and then they end up killing her and they give her a choice. Because you're a witness, J-Law. You either get taken out or you join the Red Sparrow program.
Yeah.
Of course, she joins the Sparrows because her mother's sick as well. She got a creepy uncle who's in the FSB, which is the modern version of the KGB. And then, so things go horribly awry. She teams up or is working against or is conning Joel Edgerton. It's a whole thing, Matt. Really, we could talk about it all day. So I know we do enjoy our slow burn spy thrillers around here, your Tinker Tailor Soldier spies, if you will. We also love our high speed, intense action films involving the spies, a la your Jimmy Bonds. So Matt, where do you peg Red Sparrow? And did you enjoy the film? Was it a success? Did you have any issues? Is this a Tinker Tailor? Or is this more of a Spectre? Or where do you come down?
That is a good question. It's definitely neither of those things. I think it tries to kind of walk the line between the two, and it's not really successful in either one because of it. It really should have just committed to either being Atomic Blonde or being...
I guess it's a better... Yeah.
Or Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, something along those lines. But it doesn't. So we get kind of a convoluted, double cross within double crosses, intrigue. But then you also get these kind of flashes of violence and action. And it's, I don't know, it's not cohesive. It's just, you go from these like kind of like these shocking images and just these like really brutal scenes, and then to just kind of, you know, I don't know, like a bunch of spy interplay that we're suddenly supposed to care about. I wanted this to be good, but I don't know. I think it kind of falls a little short of the mark for me.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you on that. I have one of my notes is a not so taut political spy thriller. You know, and I got to admit, I don't know if maybe I'm just, I don't think spoiled is the right term, but part of me was hoping for an M. Night Shyamalan reveal at the end that Daniel Craig walks on screen and this is like a backdoor James Bond cinematic universe expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then she's gonna be, you know, because I think they should do. I've thought that for a while. They should have like a Felix Leiter film, right? They should do. They have all these possibilities that they could do that they don't. But I don't want to get sidetracked. But I was kind of hoping that would be like a little hidden, expanded Bond universe type thing. I feel that it's trashy without being lurid. Part of me really wants to have seen in his prime Brian De Palma make this movie. I think it would have been a little bit more, I don't know, interesting and schlocky in a way that would have been more enjoyable than this thing was. It does very little to elevate Lawrence. I mean, she does the best she can with this work. I mean, she's always great, but I don't think the film serves her. There is a lot of abuse that she takes, and unfortunately, it's not like you mentioned briefly. It's not an Atomic Blonde abuse where Charlize is handing it out just as much as she's getting it. There's a lot of physical and sexual abuse that Jennifer Lawrence experiences in this film that is just, she suffers a lot in this thing. And I just didn't think it was really pointed and needed really to occur. There's a mystery behind that's going on as this film unravels as to who the person that Joel Edgerton is trying to protect, who the mole is in the Russian government. That kind of just takes a back seat to the twist. I feel like there was, and the twist that occurred, because you're never really maybe that sure if Jennifer Lawrence is really turning good or if she's working her job as the spy. But the problem is you don't really care either. You know, it's just, I don't know. The first half I just found turgid. I really had a hard time kind of getting through it. And then as the thing progresses, we get introduced to Egerton and there's more spy-y stuff. I just found myself caring less and less. So, and part of the issue too I have is that I felt that there was absolutely no chemistry between Lawrence and Edgerton whatsoever.
Yeah, they were super flat, and I don't know whose fault that is. I kind of swung back and forth because I mean, both of them could be engaging and they can have that kind of interplay between their co-stars. But I'm even thinking back. I mean, even as I was thinking back to like Lawrence, I'm like, okay. In what was that terrible sci-fi movie with her that we saw last year that I'm obviously blocking out of my mind? Passengers. I'm like, was that more Chris Pratt even doing the heavy lifting? Was it Bradley Cooper doing the heavy lifting? And maybe it is, but at the same time, Edgerton hasn't always been the most compelling of actors as far as that goes as well. So I don't know. Maybe it's just they got two milquetoast people to be in their spy film that depends on, you know, seduction and stuff. So maybe bad casting choices.
Yeah, I just didn't. Just think this, and all of this just didn't work for me, unfortunately. And I know it's the other problem too, Matt. This thing's what, 2 hours, 2.5 hours long, almost 2:20. Yeah, it's 2 hours 20 minutes long. And
yeah, I was really annoyed at that. I was like getting ready to go see this late at night, and I was like, "How long is this thing anyway?" It's like 145-minute running time. I'm like, son of a.
Listen, we're all for long films, right? Yeah. Deliberately paced, as we call it, but still, it's a sit. It's and the problem is it's just not that entertaining. It like you said, it lives between two worlds that embraces neither. So I think that's a problem for the film. I don't know. It's fine. I wouldn't rush out to the theater and see this. Maybe if you got a rainy day afternoon, maybe. I mean, I'm giving this thing a C-. I just had nothing exceptionally redeeming about it, nothing innovative about it. It's not trashy enough to be enjoyable on that level. And even then the sexual stuff is it's punishment. It's not seduction. It's just, I don't know. I just wasn't a fan.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I would go a little lower, D+. I think the the length is really unforgivable and it's going to knock it down another third of a letter grade for me.
Fair enough. All right, if you had a chance to see Red Sparrow, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, coming up on Blu-ray and DVD this upcoming Tuesday, that's March 13th. Matt, it is the week. I hope you've been saving your pennies because, all right, first off, you have the 2017 Best Picture, The Shape of Water, being released. Includes a bunch of making of featurettes, conversation with Guillermo del Toro's master classes on this, a couple of anatomy of the scenes. I get if there's not a lot on here. I'm wondering now, especially with the Best Picture, we may get an expanded edition of this at some point. Maybe Criterion will get their hands on it.
Yeah, maybe, but that's going to be way in the future. Can you wait that long, Chris?
I don't know.
Criterion to get their hands on it. No, you can't.
Possibly not. Next up, you have Call Me By Your Name, the fantastic film with Armie Hammer and Timothée Chalamet. It's getting released as well. I really like this thing. I don't think you had an opportunity to catch up with it yet. So
I haven't seen it.
You have seen, though, the Florida Project already, right? I mean, it's been 2 weeks since you said you'd watch it. And
no, I haven't. Of course not. I'm just going to keep disappointing you. Now it's like a running gag.
Great. Also, I couldn't find any special features or anything for Call Me By Your Name, but still well worth your time. But, and also, too, criminally underappreciated supporting role by, oh, good God, what's his name? He's actually tied John C. Reilly as being in 3 Best Picture. Michael Stuhlbarg. He's in 3 Best Picture nominees this year. I think John C. Reilly was the only person that's done that.
Oh, wow.
So it's a brief scene, but it's a scene that like every actor dreams to have in their life. It's kind of that powerful and moving. Also being released is I, Tonya. Includes audio commentary with the director Craig Gillespie and some deleted scenes. The Disaster Artist being released as well. Includes commentary with Franco's Waizu and Greg Sestero, as well as some more. And there's also, I love this, there's a featurette, Oh Hi Mark, Making a Disaster, and then Directing a Disaster and a gag reel. Suspiria is getting its single disc release. It had a 2-disc set previously that's had included the soundtrack. But if you don't want to splurge for the steelbook with all that stuff, you get the single disc. That'll be out now. Downfall, the film about the last few days of Hitler in the bunker. If you see that clip, it's basically it's a meme clip where it's Hitler slamming on the table and complaining about something.
Yeah,
from this film, Downfall. So you can finally check that out. And then Criterion is giving us The Age of Innocence. Scorsese's film features a newly restored 4K digital transfer approved by Scorsese himself, as well as a 5.1 surround DTS master audio soundtrack. New interviews with Scorsese and other members of the cast and crew. And hey, it's Criterion. Arrow is giving us a couple individual releases previously only available as part of a George Romero box set. The Crazies and Season of the Witch are both being released. There's the Season of the Witch alternate extended version that's included with this individual as well. And both films have brand new 4K restorations. I got to tell you, The Crazies, I haven't seen Season of the Witch. The Crazies, though, it's not that good. And if you're going to watch one, I would highly recommend the remake with Justified there. Timothy Olyphant. That's actually pretty good. What else is coming up, Matt? Oh, possibly the biggest release of 2018, Matt, on Blu-ray and DVD. I know you're excited about this. Are you ready?
Ready.
Justice League.
Oh, woo!
And a steel book from Best Buy. I was actually contemplating inserting Justice League clips no matter what the film was throughout the entire show. But then I just couldn't buy. I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
You came to your senses?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So that's getting released as well with a whole bunch of making of stuff there. And then you have finally, as all my papers are out of order. Damn it, Jimmy. I don't have Hulu, so you can now check out The Handmaid's Tale. That's getting released on Blu-ray and DVD. Gotcha. And then you're straight to DVD pick of the week, Matt. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I think we mention these every time they come out. We have yet to see a single one of them. But the fact that I wonder if this is the 6th film. Maybe it's the 4th film in the franchise. I don't know. But Evil Bong 666 is being released. Your favorite stoner characters are back, Matt. And Evil Bong 666. When a blood sacrifice opens a portal to hell, EB's return to Earth, where Lucifer, the new proprietor of her weed shop, has some sinister plans of her own. Before Evie's dreams of world domination can be satisfied, she'll need to employ the help of Rabbit and the Ginger Dead Man. Channeling their inner Dr. Frankenstein, Evie and Rabbit create the Ginger Weed Man, a tiny patchwork monster made from the greatest strains of weed on Earth. This animated edible is ready to join the fight in sexy hell. Keep your bongs packed. This is going to be one crazy trip, Matt. Bonus features include spotlight on actress Robin Sidney, the smoke of hell behind the scenes, looking at making evil bong 666, breaking into sexy hell, a look at adult actress Trillium, transitioning into mainstream films. Trillium? I would not classify this as breaking into mainstream films.
I would really look at the definition of mainstream.
So, Evil Bong 666 is your straight to DVD pick of the week, Matt. What should we be streaming this week? All
right. Well, I'm going to go a little bit of a side shoot. I'm not going to use Amazon Prime or Netflix or Hulu. I'm going to go with something that's on HBO Go. I think enough people, because of Game of Thrones, have HBO Go available to them. But if you have HBO Go, I suggest you go out and check out one of the best films of the year last year, nominated for an Academy Award for Best Picture. Get Out is available for streaming. The horror film about race relations in America, very creepy, made by a funny guy, Jordan Peele. Has its moments of levity as well. Really good, solid horror film. And if you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out because it is out there for streaming. Or if you have seen it, watch it again. There's nothing wrong with that.
One of my favorite moments, we'll talk a little more about this in our Oscar recap, is Jordan Peele winning the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. And his face as he's walking off stage, and he just cannot believe it. Yeah. I've never seen just a pure image of just kind of shock and joy. It sustained me for like the entire week. It was really nice.
That's all it takes, huh?
It is. Well, when your life is as dark as mine, it's every little bit of sunshine helps a little bit, you know.
Okay, good.
Okay,
and we brought it back down. Yeah, we brought it back down a little bit. Let's bring it back up.
So as normal, since we have the foreign language film coming up, I don't have a clip for you because we are big in Spain. I probably should have included it anyway. Damn it. Let's talk about Veronica, or as I like to call it, Ouija Casa de Evil. So, Matt, why don't you explain to everybody what Veronica is all about?
Sure. Veronica is the story of a 15-year-old girl, funnily enough, named Veronica, has to take care of her siblings, her younger siblings, for her working mother, goes to a Catholic school, and she decides that during an eclipse, her and a couple of her friends are going to attempt to contact her deceased father using a Ouija board in the basement. Nothing can go wrong with this because this is not a horror movie universe, but essentially she calls in dark spirits that start to stalk and torment her and her family, and terrifying situations ensue. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. So I found the film suitably creepy.
Yeah.
It had some kind of nice little set pieces, some nice moments in it. I think, unfortunately, the scariest part of the film is the first 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. After that, nothing else really. There were some scares and stuff. It was fine. I think it thinks it's introducing a new twist in the Ouija possession type thriller thing that I don't know if it works as well as maybe you did. I don't know. We could talk about it. Because she thinks that there are spirits that are trying to invade her world, but that's really not quite the case. Right. Another issue too. I don't know if the teen angst stuff works that well. I think it's a little schizophrenic in its music cues, though a couple times I did enjoy it, particularly the overlay of the old school kind of monster music from the 50s in one part in the apartment. But then there's also a bunch of, basically I felt like this guy watched the Ouija Origin of Evil and then It Follows, and then made a little smash up of that movie there. So I don't know. In the end, I felt kind of has a nice little fun haunted house movie at the end, all things being some irregular synth action. I just don't know if I enjoyed the teen angst stuff. I don't know. I did have a question for you though, with it, since you do have a daughter. Is this how puberty works? Is this film an allegory for puberty? Is that what's happening? That maybe I'm just not smart enough to appreciate?
I don't know. I'm not there yet. So talk to me again.
Are you terrified it is?
I'm very terrified. My father's friend, he said he had a daughter, and he says, one day she was my little girl, and I was I was sunshine of her life and she was a daddy's girl. And then the next minute she woke up one morning and she hated my guts, and she did for like 6 years after that. So I'm like, okay, so hit me up again in like 6 years and we'll see what happens.
All right,
I'll tell you
we'll
how
check in with you. So I just felt the whole thing was uneven. Even like some of the music, like the Goblin Nickelback smash up band,
right?
That I just didn't. I don't know. Listen, I felt like I'm number twoing all over this film, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
But when you come to me and say people are turning this thing off halfway through because it's so scary, I have some expectations set. All right, and maybe we'll get more of that with Hereditary, or it was previously known as Untitled A24 horror film.
Yeah,
that's coming out in about a month, which is supposed to be the scariest thing in years.
I know. I hate it when they set something up that big. I'm nervous.
But I don't know. I thought it was okay. I felt like I'd kind of seen these things before, and there wasn't really enough new stuff to really keep me riveted and terrified. It's fine.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. This is, if you've seen Ouija Origin of Evil, which we thought was a pretty good, solid, better than it had any right to be horror film. It has a lot of the same visuals. It has a lot of the same kind of kids in peril kind of thing. And, maybe a little bit of Annabelle 2, kind of vibe going on as well with the women or the kids in peril. But I don't know. I didn't think we were really getting anything new. I wasn't particularly scared. I mean, there's no really jump scares. There's not really any kind of dread. It's really just a lot of, I don't know. I guess you get kind of like an unease and like that's kind of creepy visuals, but I don't know. Nothing really that was earth shattering as I expected it to be. I was very disappointed. And it's also disappointing that this is directed by Paco Plaza, who's the guy who did Rec and Rec 2.
Right.
So, and I think he did Rec 3 too, which diminishing returns, but still, I had really high expectations based on the kind of feedback from the horror community and the fact that this guy who directed it, but I don't know. It's not that great. If you're looking for an okay horror film on Netflix, I mean, sure, check it out, but I don't know. I wouldn't go out of your way to see this.
Yeah, no. And Rec 2 are fantastic little horror films too. I really like both those. I haven't seen 4 yet, which is on Netflix, I believe. That's the one that's on the cruise liner.
Right.
But still, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I think the creepiest stuff is the beginning of the film, and then the scene in the school cellar when she reacts, after being quiet for a bit. It's basically the poster. If you take a look at the poster, it's that scene.
Right.
It that one made me jump. But outside of that, it's fine. Well, I will give one thing credit that I don't think about entirely enough, that I think that as in the English language, I clearly think phantasma is a much cooler word than ghost.
Yeah.
We should I think we should bring that in. We should
start referring to as solely as phantasms.
Phantasma. Yes, clearly. I think it's a much cooler word.
It is.
So thank you, Veronica, or as we like to call it, Ouija Casa de Evil.
Casa de Evil. Apartamento de Evil. I don't even know if that's right. So what are you giving it?
Yeah, I wrote C+ down, but I think that's a little generous, but that was I'll just stick with it.
Your initial reaction. Yeah, I gave it a C. Inoffensive. It's fine, but that might be the kiss of death for a horror film, really.
Yeah, that's very true. Mm-hmm. Get a chance to see Veronica, would love to hear your thoughts. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, we're done the show. I think there's nothing else to talk about. So,
yep, I'm ready. I'm done. Yeah. Oh, you don't want to talk about maybe some picks?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's hear. Let's just hear a clip and do it. Son of a bitch.
My feet are already killing me. I made Brewster pigs in the blanket tonight before leaving. Boy, he just ate them up. No thank yous, no yum-yums, not a feet. Man is as silent as a grave. But if farts are flattery, honey, he be Shakespeare. And then I get home, and I make him breakfast. Eggs, bacon, and butter toast. I butter the man's toast a lot. Both sides, as if he was a child. And I don't even get thank you. You'd be grateful because you're an educated woman, but my Bruce, all he had going for him was animal magnetism back in the day. Hadn't worked in a while. What in the Sam Hill? No! You boys mind putting the trash in the can? That's what it's there for.
Just let it out.
So I was 17 out of 24, Matt. Do you know how many you got right? I know you got like a 1 or 2 more right than I did. I think it's basically
no, I don't. I don't know.
Fine. Well, at least you got, here's 118 you got right. Then you're up here, original score, which is BS, 19. And then that sound mixing, which is 20. So I think we'll call it that. I've had enough. So you had 3 more right than I did. You were 25 out of 24. I was 17 out of 24. I did nail every one of the big categories. So if you were betting big with me, all in, baby. 100, 100, 100, all in. All right.
Yeah,
now,
whatever helps you sleep at night, Chris.
That's the only thing that lets me sleep at night. So first off, a couple things. Roger Deakins, 14th time's a charm, is it? 14, 13? 14. Absolutely ridiculous. When you look back, the fact that Deakins has been nominated that many times that had never previously won. Thankfully, he did win for Blade Runner. So out of all of this stuff, that may be the thing that makes me the happiest, is that he won. A couple things that I found absolutely atrocious is the fact that, listen, Alexander Desplat's score for Shape of Water is nice. It's magical. It's whimsical. It's great. Johnny Greenwood's score for Phantom Thread is just a stunning piece of music independent of the film itself. And the fact that he didn't win is absolutely ridiculous. And then finally, my other big complaint is the sound mixing. All right, so briefly, sound editing and sound mixing. So sound editing is basically the introduction of sound effects right into the film and how everything kind of comes together. Sound mixing is the mixing of just not only sound effects but music and how the film kind of flows together and how the music kind of carries you along through the film and everything. And that's what Baby Driver was from start to finish. That's what that film was. There is no Baby Driver without the sound mixing job. You could Dunkirk, the other films. It's just ridiculous. So clearly the Academy voters do not know what sound mixing is. And I should not have lost that. That just blows my mind. And then Matt chooses Dunkirk because he knows that people are ignorant. And I had faith in the American public. I got burned last year on that. And I got burned again on the Academy voters this year on that. And I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. Idiots. What were your thoughts, Matt? Anything about the picks that you wanted to talk about?
Not really. I wasn't super surprised. I mean, other than, obviously I wanted Shape of Water to win Best Picture. I was not confident it was going to be, but
yeah, you did not have faith. I did, but you couldn't do it.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Chris. We've done these Oscar picks many, many times. And usually I vote with my heart and I usually end up losing terribly. So I basically went with what I thought was going to go from, as you pointed out, what the broader Academy voters would do. And I'm happy Shape of Water won. But, obviously I was not expecting that.
No. And let's take a moment too and chit some praise on our boy Guillermo. Not only, two things, Matt. Congratulations! All right, you won.
For the first time ever in the history of the show, somebody beat Chris, and he's very upset about it. And I'm glad he's really crucifying himself on the sound mixing thing. If you'll sit here and talk,
that drives me crazy. They don't know what it is. So anyway, yes. So congratulations to you. Congratulations to Del Toro. It's well deserved. All right. Let's put that. So congratulations that you won. I think it's fun. There was 1 year I think I got one wrong. I think 1 year. So
I remember.
I'll hold on to that forever. But it's just I just want to talk about our boy Guillermo. the fact that he did win for a genre film as well, because the movie's so much more than that. It's just a perfect distillation. Kind of like last year, we thought La La Land was going to win because it's just a film that loves Hollywood. That's what Shape of Water is too, right? Mm-hmm. It's an adult fairy tale that is just in love with movies and in love with love. So it's a great little movie. And congratulations. We're both Del Toro fans, big time here. So the fact that he now has a best direction and a best achievement in direction, if I will, Oscar, and then a best picture Oscar on his mantle is just fantastic. So congratulations.
Yeah, good for you, girl.
So, all right, what else do we got to talk about? So I'm glad he won. That he won direction. I always think it's weird when the best picture doesn't win best direction. That's like the movie direct itself, but that does happen every now and then. So let's see here. Anything else that really jumps out about it? Best song. That really bothered me too. I really thought that the song from what is it? Doop 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 doop. Call Me by Your Name is a really a sweet little song, and honestly, I think it's better than the Coco one. Coco one's good, but I think what pops with Coco too is the ending, and the way the song is treated at the end when Amarita, I mean, you're on the floor crying at that point. So that's probably what pushed it over the edge.
I mean, people are thinking about that, that they were crying at the end of that film, and that's why.
And I bet you a lot more people saw Coco than saw Call Me by Your Name too, which I probably should have factored into my decision, which I did not, because I am dumb. So, all right. A couple of things. Is that it for the Oscars? Oh, Tiffany Haddish and Maya Rudolph clearly need a buddy cop movie as soon as possible. The two of them were probably the highlight for me of the Oscars. And that was it. I had that, and I want to talk about Jordan Peele, like I said. So, any other Oscar talk for you? Winner, champion, 2017, 2018?
Yeah. So, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Kimmel did an okay job this year?
It was fine. I like Kimmel. I like when they went to the screening of A Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah.
With everybody. I liked Armie Hammer with the hot dog cannon.
Yep.
I thought that was a lot of fun.
I liked Mark Hamill introducing himself to Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So I like Kimmel. I think he did a good job. Yeah. So yeah, lowest rated Oscars ever, I think, too.
Were they?
A while. Lower than last year's, which were previously really low. I know some people made a point of that in their tweets that reside in big white houses. I don't know why. It's fine.
Too long. It's too long. It's really what it is. And they had a running gag for it where they stole our Price is Right bit, but that was pretty funny. But yeah, he's not wrong. I mean, it was a school night, so I didn't even stay up for the whole thing. I had to catch catch it later. The last like, I don't know, half hour or so the next day, because I was like, dude, I gotta go to bed.
I stayed up for the whole thing. I just wanted to see what happened. Part of me was secretly hoping that Get Out was going to win.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I stuck to it. I'm committed, Matt, unlike you.
Yeah, obviously. But I mean, to be fair, folks, Chris doesn't have a commute. He does not have a commute.
That's a very good point. My commute is my bedroom to my home office.
That's right. Yeah.
So plus I did at one point once I'd realized that I had no chance of catching you.
Yeah.
I seriously considered moving on to Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Did you?
I did.
I can imagine that. I can imagine that conversation with yourself. No, you will sit there and watch this.
Basically, it was a rough night.
Yeah.
So, bastards. All right. A couple things I wanted to talk about as well. Did you get the text I sent you about Captain Marvel, Shazam?
Yeah, I did. Yes.
What do you think? Did you see? So they've the first real full pictures of is it Zach Levi? Is that how you say?
Zachary Levi? Yeah.
As Captain Marvel, or I guess we have to call him Shazam. Have leaked online. That costume is like Christopher Reeve's Superman-esque. Now, I don't know if there's going to be any digital manipulation down the road a la Green Lantern, but man, I'm loving that S. Let me tell you, man, that thing is it's great. It's perfect. Yeah. It's absolutely perfect. What do you think about it?
Yeah, it is really good. And I mean, just looking at it makes me wonder, they see all the fake padding muscles underneath the suit for Zachary Levi. Makes me what they're gonna do with The Rock playing Black Adam. Like, Is he going to be like? Will he even be able to move? Because Brock doesn't even really need that kind of stuff. I really want to see Brock in his Black Adam outfit right now.
That would be cool. You think they'll have a pointy ears? He's got to have the pointy ears. I never quite understood why Black Adam has pointy ears. He's not an alien. He's just from Egypt, right? Originally, I don't know.
He's an elf. Maybe he's an elf.
So the Black Adam's costume is not going to have sleeves. It just.
Oh, you don't think so?
No.
It'll be a tank top. That's all it is. It'll be a tank top walking around with a gallon of water.
It'll be a blank mesh tank top with a gold mesh lightning bolt down the middle of it. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
I wonder if they'll keep the Brahma bull there on his arm. If they'll digitally or put some makeup on that. Why not? It's The Rock. He can do whatever he wants, right?
He can do whatever he wants. Yeah.
So still, I'm really excited about that. So I'm happy to see that. Also, they cast Kristen Wiig as Cheetah for the Wonder Woman sequel.
I saw that. That's crazy.
Thoughts? You think,
So I don't know that much about Cheetah. I never really read, DC Comics in general, but I didn't really read Wonder Woman. What is she kind of supposed to be, kind of a funny character, or were you getting straight up dramatic Kristen Wiig?
I don't think she's supposed to be a comedic actor or a comedic character. I don't know. I don't know that much about Cheetah outside of Super Friends, which I don't really think I should consider canon. So it's just an interesting choice. Interesting choice. We'll see what they end up doing with that. What else do we have for you? I'm sure a lot of these are things that you're going to have in your pocket. Infinity War, 2 hours, 36 minutes.
Yeah. I'm okay with it. I think it's going to be a fast, lean 2 hours and 36 minutes. I hope
they got a lot of characters to give time to.
They do.
So I think that's definitely part of it. And I don't have an issue with it per se. They're going to do a great job with it. It's the Russo brothers. Yeah. So it'll be fine. But still, that's long. That's a long movie. Though I have watched that 3 hours Snyder cut of Batman v Superman about a dozen times because I don't know if I just secretly hate myself.
I was about to say, I think you're really trying hard to love something that's just not good because you want it to be good.
Possibly. Yeah. Quite possibly. Captain Marvel, the Marvel version, is set in the 90s. Thoughts?
I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'm okay with it. That would explain kind of like, it would allow you to get her off Earth and why she's never interacted with any of the Earth's mightiest heroes, the way we've never seen her before. Makes sense.
It's interesting. I think part of it too is they want to kind of explore a world before there were superheroes, before Nick Fury's Sam Jackson, was, had a twinkling in his eye.
One eye. Yes.
About putting together a team. Yeah, it's interesting. Here's my one concern. The 90s sucked. All right. They just some good movies, but not many. Some bad shows. The music, for the most part, was atrocious in the 90s, particularly pop music. So I don't have a lot of fond memories of the 90s. I don't know if I really want to go revisit it, even though we love Brie Larson on the show. And Shazam will always be my Captain Marvel. Still, it's fine. Whatever. I had a couple more things, but go ahead. What do you got? I've been talking for the whole time. Have I spoiled anything from you?
No. So Villeneuve, he's planning on doing 2 Dune movies. How likely do you think he's actually going to get around to making that second one, giving his take on Blade Runner 2049?
Well, what's the issue? I'm worried that they may say, "Whoa, Dennis, you cost us about $100 million." All right, after Blade Runner. So why don't we pump the brakes a bit? Or is it more he's making his film, they're just going to chop it into 2?
No, from what I understand, he's planning on making 2 separate films, and each one's going to take like 2 years to make.
Listen, part of the issue is that I don't have any experience with Dune as a property. Right. I've never read the books. I haven't seen Lynch's version. I haven't seen the Sci-Fi Channel version. I have no attachment to Dune.
Right.
It's Villeneuve. So if he wanted to do an illustrative cinematic version of the phone book, I'd watch it. So it's fine with me. Is Deakins his cinematographer on that? I don't think he is. So but either way, it'll be fine. I'm all in it just because of Villeneuve.
No, I'm all in the fact that that he should do it. And if that's the way he wants to do it, I'm completely fine with that. I'm just nervous if he's not doing it at the same time or concurrently, that
The other one will never get that.
The other one will never see the light of day if he's not finished, because I don't think he's going to make enough money. Just because, I mean, Dune is a very beloved sci-fi, but it's for people who are really niche, really into sci-fi, kind of thing. And it's tough. I mean, it's got a lot of heady, really strange kind of. This was written in the late 60s, early 70s kind of thought processes going on to it. So it's a bit of a stretch. So we'll see.
You don't think 2.5 hour movies about spice trading? Is that and then sandworms are going to hold people's attention for?
You never know. You never know. Or floating, warring political houses and basically some kind of weird blue-eyed Arabic-sounding people in the middle of the desert. Yeah, it's very strange. The whole thing is very strange.
I remember the last time a sci-fi franchise tackled interstellar trade negotiations. It wasn't exactly the most thrilling thing you'd see.
Wow, I know. Who would have thought?
But I don't. Yeah, I don't know. That's a problem. You have more of a connection. I feel like Dune could be one of those. What's the other one? Where they made a film like out of a big sci-fi franchise, and I was like, people don't know what this is, and they're not going to show up for it.
Right.
Maybe like a Warcraft thing. Like that's what I think. Like people think that there's this huge built-in audience,
right?
And in the end, like nobody goes to see it.
Well, hell, we don't even have to go that far. Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
Blade Runner is a huge seminal film in sci-fi and genre film, and just even how those kind of modern genre films look. But there's not, at the end of the day, those are for really hardcore people. Your average movie fan may have never seen Blade Runner.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it's one of those things where maybe we talked ourselves into making Blade Runner be a bigger thing than it really is.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
cultural impact wise.
Yeah. Well, I think it still has a lot of cultural impact, but the people who really love it are the most vocal. So they think that just because everybody online is saying it's a good idea, well, that just goes to show you that the geek population who's really into this stuff is really small, no matter how loud we are.
Right. Yeah, I think you're entirely right about that. Jon Favreau leading that Star Wars series, which I just found out today is specific to Disney's streaming service.
Oh, I did not know that. Interesting.
There's a big uproar about, first off, that it's after Disney's stating that they're going to be more inclusive with creators, female creators, and then of minority creators, that they went up going with Jon Favreau to steer the ship. Now,
right.
I understand why, because he has worked with Disney and delivered some great stuff for them over the last, 6-8 years.
Right.
So I understand why they did. They'll just fly in the face of maybe the company's mission statement that they made, just this past year.
Right.
But are you concerned, A, your thoughts on that, and then B, are we hitting oversaturation point? Have we already hit it with Star Wars?
Yeah, I think that'll, as far as, I'll take your second point first. We'll see what happens when Solo comes out and how that's received. Because if that doesn't do well, I could see them taking maybe a break after they deliver episode 9. Maybe it's time to reassess. I don't know. We'll see. But as far as, to your point, yes, I understand why they picked Favreau. They are playing it safe, and they're playing it frustratingly safe because you're right. He has delivered some fantastic product for them, but he's also delivered some really middling product for them, especially his later output. So it makes me nervous. And I think, Star Wars is something that's so rigid that it would really behoove them to kind of blow it out, to do something completely different. And what they're going to do with the other trilogy that they're allowing, I'm blanking on his name, the director of episode 8.
Ryan Johnson,
thank you, sorry. They're letting Ryan Johnson take the reins of. They could have made these, especially if they're not going to release them theatrically, maybe they could have given it to other directors, minority directors, women directors, people just with different, younger directors who may have different ideas.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. Did you see too? I saw that Jessica Jones season 2 dropped on Netflix yesterday, and every episode was directed by a woman, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah. That's up next. I am 15 minutes into the final episode of Punisher season 1.
Okay.
So again,
all that stuff.
That's a season that I remember tweeting out that the first episode of Punisher was electric, and it was. Then it grinds to a halt for about 3 episodes. And then kind of this really, I think they need to reconsider this stuff. From what I understand, Jessica Jones is like 8 episodes long, maybe 9.
Right.
I think that's good. I think this Punisher series could easily have been 8 episodes and out the door. And maybe that's what they need to start looking at. Really, and we've already half adapted, right? The British version of just doing 10 episodes or 12, 13 episodes per season here, particularly on your streaming services. I think we could definitely do that here as well with some of these Marvel shows, because though Punisher's been good, not 13 episodes worth of good.
Right.
There's a whole 2-3 episode arc of him dancing back and forth with Micro. And is Micro a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he It's like 3 episodes. Come on. So it's, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. Now, so is Favreau going to direct these films, or is he just going to be like the producer?
He's filming it. I think he's a showrunner, if you will, for lack of a better term. As far as I know, maybe he's gonna, but I can't imagine he'd be directing 13 episodes of a show. I think more he's going to be the showrunner.
He's going to be the Joss Whedon.
Yes, the Zack Snyder. Do you have anything else?
No, not really. I mean, it's a rumor. It's really premature, but I am pretty excited that they're trying to pull off a 2000 AD inspired anthology series on TV, which would bring in Carl Urban is in talks to reprise Dredd for when he shows up in those episodes. So that would be really awesome, because honestly, I think Carl Urban is my favorite genre film superfan actor Hollywood going into that, because he just loves this.
It's a very complicated phrase you just had there, but yeah,
I know it is. Yes, but I mean, he's just a nerd. He's really into this stuff, so I really appreciate the kind of commitment he does to this stuff, and he just seems to get really excited and doing these kinds of things. So the more chances he gets to be on screen doing these things, I'm really excited.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I would love to see that too. And did you hear this week too that he stated that Alex Garland basically directed Dredd?
Yeah.
Which I was not aware of that, but I guess it was a bit of a mess in the editing room, and Garland kind of came in, assembled, and put the whole thing together. And
well, I mean, he wrote it, so I guess he came in and saved it. Yeah, that was. It's an underappreciated film.
Oh, definitely. That film deserves a sequel, at least maybe in this show. Yeah. All right, then my last thing for you, Matt. Movie Pass kind of revealed this week or last week that they track everything you do. So we all know Movie Pass. If you're not familiar, you basically pay $10 a month. You can see a movie a day for the entire month. Right. And then how do they make money on that? Because they pay the theaters the full ticket price. Well, they're collecting data on you. Well, everybody thought, well, they're collecting my movie going, streaks or how I do that stuff. But it turns out, no. They're tracking you when you go to the movies. Where do you go after? Where do you go eat? Everything. They're tracking everything. Their story is that they want to build a complete night out at the movies for people at a cheap price, and that's the what they're explaining now.
Sure.
I haven't signed up for Movie Pass yet because I'm a member of the AMC Stubs Rewards program, and I don't think those two things mesh. Okay. And then B, I go on $5 nights, so I'm not spending that much typically anyway.
Right.
So, though granted, I am spending more than $10 a month.
Right.
But I don't have all the, I don't know. I probably should really. And the other thing too is a lot of times I'll go see IMAX, or I love the Dolby Theater, and I don't think it covers them either. It's just a straight standalone, regular ticket. So that wouldn't work for me there either. So. Does this make you more likely or less likely to use Movie Pass? Do you care at all? I mean, at this point, everything's out there anyway, right? So what do you think?
I don't know. It's creepy. I'm a bit of a paranoid about this kind of stuff. I'm still kind of on the fence. I'm pretty even with my social media, I don't let anything track me as far as, well, at least I tell it not to. Whether it actually is or not, who knows? Right. I don't know. It probably would keep me away because, I mean, at this point, I haven't done it anyway. And it's really, so we've always wondered, how are they making money off of this? And if they're tracking everywhere you go, that's very valuable data that they could sell. So, I mean, that's really what they're kind of you kind of read between the lines. It's not like they're just trying to make it, so you can have a great movie going experience. No, they want to be able to sell this to different companies and advertisers and stuff like that, which is just creepy. It's very Minority Report, advertising, where they recognize you when you walk in the friggin' door. So
right.
I'm gonna try and avoid that as long as I can.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence because it would be good to kind of save that money every month too. So right now I'm kicking out about roughly $25 a month on movies.
That's not counting snacks and your gas and all that.
I tend not to. It doesn't count gas. I tend not to eat at the theater because I don't want to die in 3 years. So yeah, no, I don't know, but still, I don't know. It is one more strike against finally signing up for it. That's for sure.
It is. It's a pause. It makes you pause.
It is.
Can your frugal greed overcome your need for not being tracked everywhere you go?
It's a tough call nowadays.
Yep.
So, all right. So that's the lounge, folks. If you have any thoughts about what we talked about, shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, coming up next week, A Wrinkle in Time is out. I really want to see Thoroughbreds. That's been released as well. We'll have to figure that out. Part of me still wants to see Death Wish. I'm not going to lie. I do want to see it because I love me some Bruce Willis. I don't mind me some Eli Roth. So maybe I'll try and sneak that in at some point.
Okay.
There's a whole bunch of other streaming stuff we still want to check out. So it could be A Wrinkle in Time, maybe Thoroughbreds, maybe who knows. We'll figure that out and you'll find out next week. The Stranger sequel is out.
Yeah.
So there's a lot out there right now. Gringo, The Hurricane Heist, all stuff that came out this past Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So that's a big show for this week. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. By the way, not only are we on Stitcher, Matt, we are officially on TuneIn as well.
Wow.
So we are everywhere. Just do a search for The First Run. Scroll. You will eventually find us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be the big show for this week. I'm going to take an extended break, and we will see you all soon.
Young Billy has been granted the power by the immortals to summon awesome forces at the utterance of a single word. Shazam!